Well, hello, sports fans, and welcome back to Sports on the Spot. My name is Willie Charger, and today I'm going to be joined by Nick James, who's going to be giving us his views on the sports world. Later on, Ronnie and Lenny are going to be here with their rundown and lowdown. And today we even have a special treat. We have a guest caller who's going to come in and give us his views on Texas sports, something a little bit different. Nick, there's a lot of stuff that's happening over the weekend. NBA regular season is off and running. NFL season in week number 7, and of course, the Major League Baseball World Series teams have been decided. What was your big sports take from this past weekend?
Willie, there's a lot of boring football games on. I've still watched them all, but the big thing that I took away was the Lakers' dysfunctionality just on the sideline. Dwight Howard and AD going at it already. LeBron got to pick his team. He got everything he wanted, and now off to a rocky start. I'd throw the record out the window and just already be looking out for those big personalities clashing all season.
Well, I don't share your glum assessment of the Lakers, Nick. I think that was just a little hiccup the other day. They play 82 games. Lakers will be fine. What really struck me over the weekend was I was so desperate. I was actually watching college football, and I stumbled into this game between, I guess, Penn State and Illinois. 9 overtimes. I never heard of such a thing. And 9 overtimes, and the score was only 20-18. It was ridiculous. I think they ended up just going for 2-point conversions at the end, and nobody could make it. I can't believe I wasted my time on such a thing. But yeah, that was my big takeaway, crummy as it was. Before we get too much further into the show, I wanted to give Lenny an opportunity to give us his lowdown. So take it away, Lenny.
With the World Series in full swing, so to speak, we Americans are absolutely glued to our seats, right? Well, sadly, wrong. Most of us won't even watch a single game. You know, once upon a time, baseball was America's pastime. But in today's America, well, you know what? We just can't relate to it anymore. Now, why is that? Don't give me that tired old argument that baseball is too slow or whatever. Because I'm going to argue that baseball is too un-American. Take the sacrifice bunt as an illustration. Let's say you're the batter who has earned, through your own efforts and skills, the right to swing away, if you so choose, possibly scoring a run, maybe even a home run, thereby bringing you the accolades, and quite rightfully so. Then along comes some dumpy, self-righteous manager who tells you, oh no, you're going to tap a dribbler down the first base line. The idea, is to allow other players to advance, supposedly giving the team a better chance of scoring, even though in your opinion it might not even work. So let's see, you rob not only of a base hit, but more importantly, of your personal freedom. Oh, and by the way, if you don't obey, suddenly you're a bad guy. Really? No wonder we're abandoning baseball. Maybe the American League should be called the China League. You know, the so-called greatest generation, yeah, they were all about baseball. They were all about taking one for the team. And look where it got them. Let's face it, team sports are dying. The action from now on is going to be in individual sports, where it's each man for himself, making his own decisions, right or wrong. Those sports are absolutely awesome, and frankly, just a better fit for us modern-day Americans. Japan, you can have baseball. As for me, I'm going to settle in and watch some American athletes playing as they damn well please. Goodbye, baseball. Hey there, pro bowling.
Okay, we are back, and we are now going to do something a little bit special. We have a viewer who is calling in all the way from Corpus Christi, Texas, a guy by the name of Carlos Javelinas, who is going to give us a little bit of insight on Texas sports. Carlos, are you there?
Yes. I want to thank you, first of all, for having me on, okay? And right now, of course, there's only 2 Texas teams that matter to me, and those are the Cowboys and the Astros. Okay. Yeah, the Astros, okay, start their World Series tomorrow, and looking forward to the pitcher, okay. Valdez did super super, okay, game 5, and we expect the same thing, game 1.
The question out here in California is, how was it that the Astros were able to get back in the World Series without using their trash cans?
It's now digital. Okay, we don't do the trash cans anymore. All right, so you won't see anything. Believe me.
Digital. Oh, so it's high tech.
Yes.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
No, well, I never heard that, and I'm glad that we have you on the show to give us that insight.
Yeah. Well, you won't see it in any sports show. Okay.
Wow, we heard it here first. One other follow-up question. Do you think the Astros are really enjoying their bad boy image? Do you think that they're using this as a motivation for them to win?
Nah. That's just it. They don't need any motivation. All they want to do is win.
All they want to do is win. And what it is that they're going to do to win this World Series, I think they're playing Atlanta.
Well, the key to winning is scoring more runs than the other guy. You saw that against Boston. You saw that against the White Sox, and you're going to see that, against Atlanta. What else do you need?
So you think that your main guys, Altuve, what's the other guy, Bregman, you got Correa, there's going to be the home run power you're going to need to score more runs than Atlanta. Remember, Atlanta's got a pretty good team with that guy Freeman, and I mean, they're not to be taken too lightly. I haven't been following it too much, and I probably won't once they start playing, but it seems like Atlanta, they've been there too.
Well, that's true. Okay. But one of the things that you probably saw in game 5 and 6, of course you didn't see those, so you wouldn't know. Okay. But game 5 and 6, it was the pitching that did it. All right. Scoring, yes, it came out. All right. But you remember, okay, well, you didn't because you didn't see it. But anyway, let me tell you, all right, the last game, zip. Boston didn't score. Right, so that's how you win. You keep the other guys off the home plate.
Well, it seems like the Astros, their pitching looks like they're pretty solid, and even though they lost that guy McCullers, they didn't seem to lose a beat. And we're going to have to see if they're able to continue that into the World Series. Do you have any final comments you want to share with us here in California about Texas sports, Chana, before you say goodbye?
Oh, no. I mean, we do our talking on the field. Okay. I mean, there's some guys, and I'm not going to mention names. Okay, but there's some guys that do a lot of trash talking at the beginning of the season, only to be quieted down at the end. We don't do that. All we do is score runs. All we do is win.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Carlos. I'm going to be watching this World Series. Maybe now that we've talked to you, maybe not. It's really not too interesting.
No, that's okay.
California,
that's all right.
But
that's okay. We don't want that kind of an audience. We don't want that kind of a fan. All right. It's bad karma. Okay, so don't bother watching. Okay.
That's right. You are right about that. If I started to watch and actually root for your team, I might jinx them. And
that's exactly right. Okay, so don't even bother.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot for your insights there, Carlos, and good luck to you and the Astros, and as they try to win the World Series using those digital type of technology that they came up with. So, thank you very much, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Thanks for having me.
Fellas, now that we got Ron calling in, I wanted to talk a little bit about NFL Week 7 and comment on some of the teams that are trending upwards in this NFL season. I have to mention, number one, the Cincinnati Bengals. I thought that their smashing victory over Baltimore was very, very impressive. Keep an eye on Joe Burrow and the Bengals. And I think the other team that watch out for in the AFC, the Tennessee Titans, they really took care of Kansas City. I don't know if it's so much Tennessee being really, really good, the Chiefs being overrated. But the Tennessee Titans are definitely a team to watch. Nick, what about you? What teams are trending up in your mind?
I'm looking at the Colts. I know everyone's talking Titans right now, but they tied the AFC South last year with the same record, the Colts and the Titans. And if the Colts could have just held on to a couple of those early games, like the one against the Ravens where they had that miraculous comeback, they'd be sitting with a winning record right now. And they were able to put the hurt on the Niners last night. And even in all that rain, Carson Wentz was able to look better than he had pretty much the last 2 seasons in Philadelphia. So I'm watching out for the Colts, probably looking at that 6th, 7th seed in the wild card race.
Yeah, and I think the Patriots are a team that we got to keep an eye on. I don't know how great they're going to be this season, but Mac Jones seems to be getting better every week. And, he's still just a rookie, but with a guy like Belichick running that team, I think definitely the Patriots have found their quarterback. So I like what I'm seeing from the Patriots and Mac Jones, and I'm sure they'll only improve throughout the season. But maybe that's a team for next year as a favorite.
Well, as far as teams that are on the downward trend, I think we have to mention the hapless Detroit Lions, who fell to the Rams over the weekend. The Lions still winless. My takeaway on that game is that I believe that Sean McVay woke up pretty happy Monday morning, knowing that he made the right choice in sending Goff packing and bringing in Matthew Stafford. The Lions, I don't know if they're even going to win a game this year, but right now, along with the Dolphins, they're one of the 2 most pathetic teams in the NFL. Nick, what do you think about the bad teams?
Well, I'm sure you saw this coming, but I'm going Kansas City Chiefs. I thought they looked pretty bad the first few games in the season, and everyone kind of seemed to think they were going to rally. But Patrick Mahomes, those turnovers, all those lucky plays he made the last few years, those are starting to catch up and starting to not go his way. They redid the whole offensive line, and I think that's just getting him crushed. I mean, he was getting beat up yesterday. He's already got more turnovers this season than he's had in each of the last few seasons. So they're heading in the wrong direction, but if they somehow manage to get a wild card spot, they could run the table. So I'm just hoping they keep going down and not even a thought in the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, and there's a lot of really bad teams, actually. I think there's not as much parity, or at least yet this season. A lot of teams with just 1 win. But just trying to think of some disappointing teams. I think I had high hopes for the Dolphins. I don't know if they were going to be amazing, but to be 1-6, I think that's pretty disappointing for them. I thought they were going to be a little bit better than that. And also the 49ers, I thought they were going to be improved. I mean, they were loaded last year, and the injuries killed them. And I think the injuries are probably still killing them again. But Garoppolo, I don't think is going to be their quarterback of the future. Obviously, they got Trey Lance, although he hasn't been that great either. But I would say the Dolphins and the 49ers have been disappointments so far.
You mentioned disparity in the league. I think that was witnessed by the lopsided scores that we saw over the weekend. The Patriots 54-13 over the Jets. Tampa Bay hammering the Bears 38-3. Cardinals 35-3 over Texas. This is what happens when they have teams go up against the have-not teams. You have a lot of blowouts, and that's what happened over the weekend. Nick, I know you have more to add as far as the weekend picks coming up, so why don't you give us your Knicks picks?
Well, like I said, this week, another week of bad games coming up, so I'm going to focus on some divisional matchups for those keeping score at home. I was 3-1 last week, 9-3 on the season, so we're starting out pretty good the few weeks we've been doing this. We got Panthers-Falcons first. I'm going to go with the Panthers on this one. Falcons are only beating bad teams, and Sam Darnold has to get a win if he wants to curb any Deshaun Watson trade talk. Steelers-Browns, I'm going to double down and say Steelers this week. I thought the Broncos could take the Browns out last week with that defense. Steelers' defense is way better. Browns are super banged up, so we got to go with the Steelers here, plus the revenge for the playoffs last season. Titan-Colts, I guess you could probably guess where this one's heading. I'm going with the Colts. I mean, the Titans only -1, and I think the Colts are going to be able to hang offensively with the Titans, and if they can just keep Derrick Henry at bay with that hard-hitting defense. I think a big upset's going to happen this week. And then finally, Bucks Saints. I'm sure everyone's going with the champs, but they forget that the Saints did beat the Bucks twice at home, or twice last season before the playoffs. I think the Saints are better this year than they were last year, and I think they're going to get the upset this weekend. As far as fantasy, I got a couple of quick warnings. Allen Robinson, I'm wondering why my team's doing so bad. This guy has one touchdown and 10-point game in all of his games this season, and that was the same game. So I'm looking out for how high I drafted him. You kind of got to start him, but if I can get another option in there, I'm going to try this week. Another guy, Mike Davis, he only had 4 touches against the Dolphins yesterday, and he's just getting underutilized, kind of a really risky boomer bust flex play. Some guys I'm looking for to get in there. Darius Slayton came back from injury yesterday, and he got nine targets, so he's a good pick in volume alone. And then Javonte Williams, I'm saying buy low now. This guy is going to be a season winner for you later on. Once he surpasses Melvin Gordon, or once Gordon gets hurt, he got 7 targets yesterday in PPR. He's going to be a machine moving forward. So buy low on Javonte Williams. And that's all I got for the picks this week, Willie.
Well, thanks for that, Nick. Lots of stuff to digest on the NFL. And Ronnie even has some more to give us in his Ronnie Rundown. So take it away, Ronnie.
All right, we're back for another week of picks. You can see I'm at an undisclosed location right now. Things didn't work out for me and Bobby Bonaduccio taking the Red Sox on with a World Series. So we may or may not be wherever we say we may or may not be at right now. Hopefully the crypto market gets us some of the money back. We're doing Dachshund coin. We got, we got a German Shepherd coin, Pomeranian coin. So hopefully some of those will work out for us and we can turn this around. But nonetheless, we're going to still go with picks for this week. I'm going to go with all home teams. So let's start it off with Colts -1 against the Titans. The Titans are on fire right now. Colts are actually looking pretty good too. And that feels like a trap to me with the 5-2 Titans and the Colts are 3-4. Vegas is begging you to take the Titans +1, but I'll take the home team Colts -1. I like that they're favored. I'm glad that they're favored as opposed to them being the underdog in that game. That is a better sign. We'll do Lions +3.5 against the Eagles. I kind of feel like I should start betting the Lions until they win. They're just so hungry for a win. It seems like they really buy into the new guy, Dan Campbell. They don't really have any talent. It's not like they have any good players, but they're playing hard and they're desperate to get a win for the guy. So, and the Eagles seem like they kind of stink. So, again, at home, I feel like the crowd's going to be going crazy for that one. So we'll take Lions +3.5. And also, I'm going to go Bears +4 at home against the Niners. Niners have been kind of disappointment. Bears, I would say, are kind of a mediocre team, but getting 4 points at home, probably a low-scoring game. I could see that coming within a field goal. So we'll do Bears +4 at home against the Niners. And good luck, guys. And, let me know if you need any crypto tips.
Thanks, Ron. I really didn't understand much of what you were talking about, but I'm sure to a small subset of our audience that was really good. So it's time for our Sports on the Spot question. As always, we're overwhelmed with questions, so we picked one at random this week from our viewer, WhackJob127. And he or she asks the following question. Are the Lions the best 0-7 team of all time? Well, guys, I've got the correct answer to this, but let's have you chime in first.
How can a team that's 0-7 be considered the best of anything? They're probably the best at being the worst. I can't even remember any other 0-7 teams to compare them with. So that's a question I really have no answer for, except to say that, no, they're not the best 0-7 team because they don't have anybody else to compare them to.
Well, Willie, I think you and I would both make great politicians because I think it's an unfair question. We wouldn't even be asking this question if they weren't 0-7. And I think it's just their drive and their hunger under the new coach, Campbell, to get a win. I think if they were 1-6, we wouldn't be talking about them right now. We would just be considering them the worst team in the league. They're a hungry team. They're desperate to get a win. So I think that's why they're giving some teams a run for their money.
I don't think that they're any worse than any of the 1-6 teams. I think that they're definitely should be considered better and possibly the best 0-7 team of all time. They lost to the Ravens, who we're saying is one of the best teams in the league, to a record-breaking field goal that doinked over the goalpost. Sure, they got blown out by the Packers and the Bengals, but they kept all their other games within 10 points or less, almost beating the Vikings, almost beating the Rams yesterday. Of course, Goff helps the Rams win one more time. But yeah, a lot of the other winless teams at this point were really bad in the past, but I feel like the Lions, you got to give them a little more credit than their record gives them.
Nick, got to chime in and disagree with you on that one. There's no way they're the best 0-7 team of all time. You know why? Because I was on the best 0-7 team of all time. I was a high school running back. I didn't score any runs, interestingly. I blame that on bad blocking. But what a great bunch of guys. And if your definition of best is just good guys, I vote for the San Lorenzo Valley Cougars.
San Lorenzo Valley Cougars, very, very unknown team. And thanks for bringing them to our attention there, Lenny. On that note, we're going to have to end this week's show. I don't know what else to say, except to thank everybody for tuning in and remind everybody to like, comment, subscribe to the show. If you have anything you want to say, definitely just send it into the sports on the show, sportsonspot@gmail.com, or just ask the question in the YouTube channel. That's going to be it for today. Thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you all next time.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think-
You should
I think
probably
it ran
memorize
smooth.
the name of the show, Tomas.
What's it called?